Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this yet another edition, in a very exciting edition of the wellness of WIRC. This is a series which is dedicated towards the wellness of all our members and their family members of Chartered Accountants through an initiative by WIRC to ensure we all give a very different element of our own lifestyle, a twist and dedication and a commitment talk about a health through wellness series. Today again, we have expert faculties, Dr. Varsha, Gorey and Dr. Rituparna with us. I'm also joined with me. I have Drishti Madam, Manish Bhai, and Priti Savla Madam. We welcome all of you to this session. To start off with, may I request first Drishti Desai, the Vice Chairperson Madam, to please address the gathering.
So, very good evening to one and all. I recognize the presence of our chairman here, Manish Gadia, Dr. Varsha Gore, and I have the secretary, Arpit Kabra, WRC, past chairman, Priti Savla. A very good evening to all of you. This is a wonderful session, and it's absolutely required to address this problem that people are facing, this mental stress, not only during COVID times, means not only while you are coming out of COVID, but mental stress also because you are not able to live your normal life. You can't go out. You are just at home. You can't do your socializing. You miss your friends. You miss your get-togethers, and you miss your vacations. I feel sometimes I really miss my vacations on the widget. I keep getting all these pictures, the old photos, of those vacation times with family, and you feel, oh my God, gone are those days. When will we be allowed to travel, and when will we go out? So that's a big thing, which is causing a huge mental stress because everybody needs a break. And when you are working from home, actually there is absolutely no timeline. So just now only Manish Bhai just inquired, what are you doing? And actually, I was just writing a mail. So that's exactly what is happening. That there is absolutely no timeline. You are working day, night, till the time you are awake, you are just working. And actually, it just drains you. You don't realize. Maybe while you are still in the house, you are still away from your family members because you're all the time so busy with your work. And the family wants to see you as a family member, but that is not happening. That's what I feel. So maybe that is drawing the family, the children away from, people who are working. I think that's a big change, and let's hope, with this lockdown lifting and everything, things will come back to normal soon. But I think that's a big thing, that we have to address, and we are looking forward to the psychological, help and the discussion that we'll be doing today. So wonderful session, and I'm really keen to listen to the doctors today. Over to you, Arpit.
Thank you, madam. Rightly mentioned. We have been burning ourselves. I think this burn has been too much, and therefore, rightly so. One day of a week is dedicated towards healing, and that is what we do at wellness sessions. That's a great initiative by WRC indeed. And today we have two very important topics amongst us. One is a clinical psychologist, and the other a clinical nutrition. More on that. But let's first hear Chairman Manish Bhai of what all is happening at WRC. Manish Bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Arpit. So, first of all, I welcome both the beautiful doctors for to today's our this webinar. Mental health as well as physical health is really very important for all of us. In last 15 months, we have gone through a various stress. Yesterday, I was discussing with one of the Deputy Commissioner of Police. He informed that the domestic violence during this last 1 year has increased multifold. People are not able to manage their stress residing at home. So all these issues are there. Daily we are getting some tips from the friends. This will boost your immunity. This is the way you have to eat, or this is the way you have to have a nutrition. This will be the proportion of your food. But whether it is right, wrong, or what we should follow, how we should improve our immunity, how we can safeguard ourselves, and how we can break a stress also. This is mental health and physical health is really very important. And today we have two beautiful doctor, that is Dr. Varsha Gorey, who is going to discuss about the nutrition, and that Dr. Rituparna Ghosh, who will give us the how to break our stress and be cool and calm. So I will not take much time, and we are directly want to listen to both of them. So over to you, Arpit.
Thank you, Manish bhai. Rightly mentioned. I think these are those testing times, and believe me, anyone who is in COVID, one thing that they will say is the one thing that they braced a lot, or something that helped them a lot, is a call from a near and dear one. So, friends, all of you out there today, if you at all need any help, any assistance, we are only a call away. Any of us, Manish bhai, Dushti madam, Preeti madam, all of us at WIRC, just one call away. If at all you wish, you want to talk about it, you want to discuss anything, or any issues, any matters that may be close to your heart, that may be personal or whatever, please feel free to reach out any of us. I think we are just a call away. And if please make sure you are available for people around you who are facing these tough times. I think one call can really make a difference. Moving on, I've got a great opportunity to introduce the wonderful personality that we have over here right now, Dr. Varsha Gorey, madam. Dr. Varsha Gorey, madam, I will tell you, a dietitian and nutritionist, MSc Food and Nutrition, and MD Alternate Medicine, 26 years of experience, more than 20 years of experience in wellness, more than 5 years in clinical nutrition, worked as a lecturer, corporate consultant on diet and lifestyle management, member of the IDA, and of course with Apollo. So I think a fantastic personality that we have. We welcome you, madam. May I request all of you to please join hands and welcome Dr. Varsha amongst us. Over to you,
Thank you.
madam.
Yeah, I would like to share my screen. So if
Yes,
you can
madam.
just help me with that.
Madam, you can see your screen already. You can put
Okay,
up your
I'll just minimize.
Yes, madam.
Yeah,
Yes, madam. Perfect.
you can view it, right?
Yes, madam.
So, namaste, good evening, and welcome from Apollo Hospitals. As introduced nicely, my name is Varsha, senior dietitian with Apollo Hospitals. And before, at the beginning of my career itself, I was very passionate about diet and lifestyle, yoga, and overall well-being. Today's topic we have selected as mindful eating, because it is not only nutrition in this COVID and pandemic time, which has been long, it got over, and again it is again, but still life has to go on. So how do we deal with this? It's a big challenge for all of us, isn't it? So let's look at our body. It's first place. How is our body? You will know for so many years of our profession, or is a school child, which you maybe have at home, or you see your neighbors and friends. Everybody has their routine. But with this last pandemic, the entire life had got distorted, and there was no routine. So when you get up in the morning, you were used to eating your breakfast, you were used to doing your physical activity, then you would go to work, school, or get into your academics, and then you would get tired and night will sleep. But now this full cycle has got distorted, and I think you will truly agree on this. And this definitely has got imbalance in our eating pattern, because people don't sleep at night, they are staying awake. If you're awake at night, you tend to eat differently. There's some concept known as binge eating. Binge eating meaning if you open a container, you start eating from the food. You say you don't want to eat, but you will still eat food. And I'm sure sitting in your place, you would agree to what I am saying. Some people will say, okay, I don't wish to eat, I will go on a particular diet. They're able to do for a while, but again, there is no continuity. So we want to talk about mindful ways. If it is from our mind, then only it can work for ourselves. These are the particular challenges. Why I have listed this, that because when I talk to patients their diet counseling, they said that when we are tense, we are worried, we feel very hungry. Some people say we are bored, so we eat hungry. I think this will be also described by my next friend who is a speaker here. But I have listed this because this is going to affect your eating pattern. Physical, mental, and social well-being is very important because physically your body needs nutrition. Mentally, you need to be alert so that you can balance your diet. But socially, we are either cut off, so we overeat. Initially, we were so social that we would overeat. So what is the balance between overeating and undereating and right eating is what we will take it in our today's discussion. So healthy eating at the same time boosting immunity is very important. Each one as adults are healthy or need to be healthy and they need to eat their daily calorie intakes. So what is a healthy eating pattern? So roughly I have given my example that if my weight is 60 for a height of 160 centimeters. So sitting in your place, first let's understand what is your ideal body weight. So if your ideal body weight, how would you calculate that? Your height is suppose 5'8" for a man. So 5'8" is 170 centimeters. So if for 170 centimeters, you just minus 100. So 70 is your ideal body weight. So you need 70 grams of protein. Roughly, you need 25 calories if you want to maintain your weight. But if you're a calorie conscious, then you need 20. If you want to lose weight, you need lesser. You have to have some amount of calorie balance, but which calories should you eat? So you should eat healthy calories. So that is your carbohydrate, fats, proteins, but you also need smart nutrition. Like your car will have a fuel, but if the fuel, there is no ignition to your car, the car will not work. So similarly, your micronutrients, vitamins, calcium, iron, zinc, selenium, which we hear so much. आज के इम्यूनिटी के टाइम में हम लोग ये सभी का ही सुनते आते हैं कि जिंक जरूरी है, विटामिन सी जरूरी है. So all these micronutrients are your ignition or calories to mobilize for your body, they are required. We shouldn't forget about hydration, that is mainly fluids, because your body is 70% plus of water. Antioxidants. Why antioxidants? Antioxidants are nutrition substances which will give you immunity. एक रोग प्रतिकारक शक्ति जिसे हम कहते हैं, that is due to antioxidants. So what are antioxidants? They are basically all the spices, vitamins which act as antioxidants. Next comes your prebiotics and probiotics. Whatever we eat goes into your gut, that is your stomach. And if your stomach is healthy, it will deal with many more problems. It will cut down your constipation, gastric issues, because sitting at home, not being active, you may be facing acidity, gases, constipations, burping, indigestion. So for that, you need prebiotics and probiotics. Now, first, let's understand what is mindful eating. It's each one will make this mindful cycle for them. The questions remain the same. It's like your maths. Your maths will not change. The equations has to be balanced. Your financial sheets have to tally, but it will vary from one person to another. So why you are eating? That I think why is same for us. We are eating because I want to stay healthy. I'm eating because I am hungry. But when do I eat? And are we eating right in this time? Because initially I was eating timely meals because you would go to work or school. You will get up 8 o'clock breakfast, 1 o'clock lunch, 4 o'clock tea, 8 p.m. dinner, 10 p.m. bed. But same scenario is not there currently. So what we would suggest that when we eat is also important. So what you are at home, life is the same. Morning, evening, night, the clock remains the same. Then why stay awake at night and do binge eating? Or why graze when you just don't want to eat something? What do I eat? We just narrated and discussed about the calories. What do I eat? I should eat the healthy food. Sometimes, yes, I wish to eat wrong food. So what is that wrong food? How much can I eat? Is what we will be looking at. How do I eat? How do I eat? We should sit at a table, eat our food, do not concentrate at any other things. A good eating time is for a breakfast is considered about 8 to 10 minutes, for lunch 20 minutes. If you can recollect, when we were kids, we were told that we have to chew 36 number of times because we have 36 teeth. And why we chew? The more we chew food, the better is the digestion. Better is the calorie control portion. Anything which has fiber will take a longer time. How should you eat or how much should you eat? Very often we are on the phones and then we don't realize that whether I eat is enough or not. Because we have eaten our food, but still we feel, oh, I have not eaten, because your whole attention was what you were talking on the phone or when you were working on the computer. So why, when, what, how, and how much? Because if you know how you have eaten, then you will know how much you have eaten. How much eating? I can also give you a few examples. Some people or patients who meet us, they say they open the tin or they open a packet and eat from that directly. So the portion control is not there. Portion control. You may eat a wrong food, like cakes, samosas, chocolates, everyone likes. And it is not me who will say don't eat, but how much you eat, the portion control is very, very important. And whatever is eaten, have I used my energy in the proper way? Have I channelized it? Have we walked for the day? Have we exercised for the day? Have I slept well? Because when you sleep, sleep is very important. When you sleep well, the digestion, your body is active still. So you have to sleep well. A good time to eat is 2 hours before your dinner should get 2 hours before you sleep. So please remember this particular cycle, because if you remember these key points, I think it will help you a lot. What do we eat and what is a balanced eating? This pyramid is seen by most of us, but we have not detailedly found what should be the steps of eating. So if you look at the base is the grains. That is your, every community will have their basic grain. Somebody will eat chapati, somebody will eat rice, somebody will eat ragi, or somebody will be only eating a one particular grain. Like we are from north, we are only chapati eaters. Someone from south will say. But now the time is of multigrain, and most of the commercial products which come are multigrain. Why? Have you ever thought? Because by adding a multigrain, you can add many more healthy nutrients. You can add fiber, you can add B complex vitamins. They are unpolished, so nutrition value definitely increases. So if you're eating one grain, in your 3 meals, you will try to change the grain. Sometimes include oats, sometimes you have chapati, sometimes you have a multigrain roti, what you call it as a bhakri, rotla, or your dosas can also be made in a combination. The next step is of your dals. Have a wide variety of dals. If you look at the colors also, dals are of different colors. They have different composition. That's why soya bean is considered as the best rated protein food in pulses. But all other dals, chilke wali dal, tuvar dal, moong dal, these are the two dals which are commonly used. But look at that. You have so much variety. Rajma, chana, chaul. So use them widely as a variety. It is planning. It doesn't happen overnight. When we file returns, you require 1 year of your backlog data entry per month, everything. So when you're looking at the food pyramid, when you're planning your day, you need to incorporate various types of these food pyramid items. The third one is your grains. Third one is your vegetables, and how much vegetables and fruits we should eat. Take a look at this and you will understand. A good recommendation is to eat 5 color vegetables per day. That is green, white, yellow, orange, red, and purple. It is difficult. It's what we think. But if you just look at the plate, there are 5 things you can include even in one meal. Your simple thing like cucumber, onion, tomato, carrot, beetroot is a part of your salad. If there are people, old people, you make a soup out of it. For children, or you can have boiled variation. Your beans, carrot, your pumpkin, other vegetables, tomatoes, watermelon. You can include fruits also. But by adding 5 colors, there will be a lot of nutrition coming in your diet. If you're really thinking and you're serious about losing your weight, you should start with a plate of salad or a plate of vegetables first, then touch your protein foods, that is your dal, and last reach to your grains. The next is your dairy products. There are so many types of diets where you will be going gluten-free or dairy-free, but these are not lifelong. You may want to take it. It's a choice you make with your consultant. But these are the protein groups. They're rich in calcium. They're rich in vitamin B12. And very often when patients come to our clinics, we find people having vitamin B12 and D3 deficiency. But if you're including your dairy products enough, you're including other milk and milk products or eggs, if you're a non-vegetarian, egg eater, your vitamin D levels will be much in place. You can include non-veg, a good amount of non-veg. One serving size is 100 grams of deboned meat or fish. And last, what you can really not see is your oils and sugars. How much should be at the good amount? We will look into it. So include these 5 kind of food groups, your diet, which will be much more healthy, and you will be in a better state of health. Along with balanced diet, we just discussed about mindful eating. Think what you want to eat, whether you like it. Don't be judgmental. No, I don't like this. Observe that you're including all the food groups. Learn to enjoy every moment of your food. Because if you enjoy your food happily, the digestion, assimilation, and the absorption works well for your body. And next comes your physical activity, because if you have good amount of energy, nutrition stored in your body, then only you will be able to have good reserves in your body. I would like to take you through good tips, what you would like to say yes and no. So what I have done is I have listed 1 to 10 some wellness tips. 1 teaspoon of salt. Salt is freely abundant, and it is that salt. Many people are accustomed, namak kam rahega to thoda upar se lete. But what does salt do? You know, when you make pickle, people say those are people who love pickles. They eat like 1 piece of pickle. But for 1 teaspoon of pickle, it takes about 4 teaspoons of salt to get into it. And what's wrong with salt is that 1 teaspoon is healthy, but if you take too much of our shelf foods, that is your bakery products, your processed foods, namkeens, your sauces, variety of things, have a lot of salt added. So we are talking about salt which is in your cooking, and we limit the salt from the processed foods. 2 spoons of sugar is considered healthy. So let it be sugar, jaggery, honey, whatever it is. 2 spoons of sugar will take you towards your wellness. 3 teaspoons of oil is actually 15 grams of oil per day. So if I have to really recommend one healthy tip you want to take home, is about half a liter of oil per month per person. The calculation is very easy. 3 spoons is equal to 15 grams. 15 into 30 days, 450. Little bit leverage for some time. So when we have, how do you really think we can manage in 3 teaspoons or a half liter of oil per month per person? That means if it is an average family of 4, you need 2 liters of oil. And I'm very sure that you will be really worried that how can you manage. If you try to take out kadhai or deep frying habit, much of your oil will be counted. You can replace with shallow frying. You can use air fryer. You can and keep the fried items only as your wish list item. So much 5 food groups we discussed, and it is very difficult to get all these 5 food groups in a particular diet you do. So try to have 4 meals per day. So your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you may like to take your mid-morning, mid-evening, so that at least 4 meals per day you are having. This is a good recommendation which you need to practice. 5 colors of vegetables gives you a lot of fiber. It adds to vitamins, minerals, and most important, the natural fluids is coming. That is, your water intake is coming through diet. And what are the clinical advantages you get is that you do not, high fiber diet will prevent you from gaining weight, will prevent you from constipation issues. It will reduce your diabetes and manage your health issues in a better way. When we're eating all the time, why not have fitness at least 30 to 40 minutes to start with on a daily basis? What does fitness or exercise of any kind of thing do? Because it's a part of wellness, I just described you. Normally we used to go to parks, used to go to gyms, but it is not possible. But even in your carpet space of 2 feet by 6, you can do a lot of activities. You can do standing, or you can do spot jogging, you can do your yoga, you can do your aerobics, you can do your walking, marching, and there are so many dynamic exercises which you can plan. So just please remember that if you're eating well, let there be some kind of fitness, even in given space. Don't think you cannot go to parks for jogging or you cannot go to pools, but try and learn to use the space what we have. 7 hours of sleep is, yes, very, very important. What sleep does is that it calms your hormonal system. It allows your food to be digested well. Third thing, the wrong eating habits, because what we are seeing currently in this pandemic and what we have been reported is that people do not sleep and they eat wrong foods when they do not get sleep. Hence, they are having a lot of weight issues. I had at least 3 or 4 patients who have met me in this 1 year who have gained 30 kilos of weight. I mean, it is really scary and alarming. People are telling it is a problem, but we have to really resort how to deal with the problem and give them solutions. So if we generally there should be a good 10-hour fasting. And how do we get this 10-hour fasting? If you take our meal by 8 o'clock, so till night 12, and that is 4 hours and further till morning 6 or 8, you can easily achieve 10-hour fasting. So you need not go for a strict intermittent fasting if you're recommended, because one of the questions which will surely come is about intermittent fasting. I know that, but even if you have a 10 hours overnight fast, so even if you eat at 9, you count your 10 hours, that can be your next meal. You will be achieving a good amount of wellness to your health. 9 glasses of water. So if you are from morning up from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, it is in this every 2 hours, you can just take a glass of water. Just keep a bottle or glass beside yourself, keep sipping it so that you do not have to worry. Whenever you think of having food, first remember the sequence. You should start with water, then go for a fiber-rich food, then go for a protein food, and then go for the main meal. That way, your brain, the satiety centers, that means the hunger feeling where it comes from, that will be much under control. We're eating, we learned about what are the good things we should eat, but what to avoid and why to avoid, more importantly. Avoid fried foods because fried food takes a lot of fats. Second thing, if you keep on seeing the fried food, at the end that oil becomes thick like grease or black in nature. So it is oxidized. It has a lot of trans fats. So why add all these unnecessary oxidants to your body? So try to have fried foods or limit it to like once a week or towards the occasion itself. Then avoid processed food, including sugar. Each and every food which is available on the shelf, if it is a sweet food, it will have some amount of sugar. So we will learn how to read the label and how. What does sugar do? Excess of sugar adds empty calories. It does not have any fiber. It gives you a lot of lethargy. There is need for the insulin to be increased. And if we are not exercising enough, that sugar stays as a stagnant way in your body and causes a lot of health issues. Processed juices or any kind of fresh juices is generally no, because when you take juices, you're just taking the sugar and the water. There is no fiber. The same thing, to get a glass of Mosambi juice or any juice, it requires 6 oranges or 6 Mosambis. But to eat 2 Mosambis, it would take about 15-20 minutes. You would add a lot of fiber, you would add a lot of vitamin C, other micronutrients, and the empty calories and your glycemic load will be much under control. Avoid overeating. Overeating can happen in different ways. Now we are not exposed to buffets. What you can do is you can do smart eating. That means you just decide or wish what you want to eat. And then you can definitely avoid overeating. We've discussed about healthy eating and wellness so that we are staying in our right BMI. But BMI is a bit of calculation where you take your weight and divide by height in meters square. But as I just described you, height in weight, my example was 60, height in meters square 160. So my BMI is somewhere near 23 to 24. So we have to see that we are at 23. So this is the BMI what you have to be. But instead you add up the way which I told you, height in centimeters minus 100. And you will know what is your ideal body weight and the calories you really require. This pandemic has caused a lot of problems. Weight gain is one. Sugars, because people are not going to clinics and health checkups. And there is a lot of social, psycho, metabolic, behavioral issues. And people just do a lot of grazing in between. They eat a lot of chips. They have small packets. They have foods by their bedside. They grab chocolates. They order foods. Just to give you an example, eating 100 calories extra per day than your requirement, there are studies which claim that there is a 5 kilo of weight gain. And now you can understand and answer your own question that why have you gained in case you or your friend has gained that weight. we are exposed to so much food at home or in ordering that we really do not see the label. It says Mari is light and you can eat, but have you ever checked the label on the Mari, that what is the nutrition in that Mari packet? No one can stop at one, eating two vada pavs or whatever. See, so keep this eating. There are good apps where you can download these apps. It will give you, you have to put in your height, weight. It will give you calculation of calories. You feed in the food, it tells you how much calories you're consuming. So it is like tallying your balance sheet. Let's check out on our favorite items: pizza, chocolate cake, samosas, which we always enjoyed in our parties. But to burn a slice of pizza, I'm not talking about a small triangle, but a proper hand size of a big pyramid of a pizza slice. It takes about 230 calories, and you burn around only 100 calories in 30 minutes of work. So imagine, for any extra food you eat, are we burning out those calories or not? So another good way is that you can even set some applications in your phone or in smartwatches, so you can count the steps what you take. Brisk walking or calorie burnout only starts after 20 minutes or after the sweat drops. So when you get a sweat drop after that 20 minutes, if you walk, there is a good calorie burnout. There are studies have claimed that there is about 10,000 steps which a healthy individual takes. He will be able to burn at least 200 to 300 calories per day. But please check with your health consultant that whether which type of fitness goal you really require. In this time, we've been shopping a lot, and what we are really exposed to is buying a lot of food at home. But we should also observe the food label, the nutrition label, wherein it gives you items. Most of us are buying foods because they are available in bigger packs. So if you want to even eat some chips, you want to eat some natural, go for smaller packs. Don't go for value deals. See what, or else you just take the portion what you wish to eat. If you are taking the burger combo, it will come with fries and coke and this thing. This is just one of the example. Or if it is a mithai and some namkeen, you just think what you want to include that particular food in your snack item. See the calories of one. You observe the total calories and see if the food is good or not. It should not have highest calories from coming from fats. It may say 80 calories only, but if the fat calories are more, what we see on packet of Lay's, then it's a bad. You have to look about the calories which are mainly from fats and what is the carbohydrate content. To boost immunity, or we were taking a lot of handling food handlers were coming in place. People would deliver. So the best way is than to even sanitize your hand is your hand wash hygiene. That you wash your hands thoroughly with the running water, and then you handle the food. Eat as per your calorie requirements. Stick on to your calorie goals, and remember to have a lot of fluids in between. Antioxidants, we were talking about 5 vegetable colors, so they are good antioxidants. And prebiotics and probiotics. So something like curd, sprouts, germinated, they create the right bacteria which is required for digestion. So when you take curd or dahi, it has the lactic acid bacillus, which aids to cause good enzymes in your system, and your food is digested well. You also get probiotic shots in drinks as 10 or 20 ml, which is commercially available as Yakult and many other. Even if you are diabetic, you have a sugar-free variation that. Try to take in case you have taken an antibiotic dose, because you can naturally take it through you can take it through sprouts or oats. These are the best sources. But otherwise, you can always, we recommend you to take a commercial one. These are the nutrients which we are talking: copper, iron, selenium. We used to have copper vessels. We still have iron kadhais. Maybe they have gone on the, behind of your shelf. These are the natural way iron will be incorporated in your diet. So rather than taking Teflon coated aluminium or any other, the best one is to use iron and steel kind of cooking vessels that will incorporate the natural iron in your food. Zinc and selenium have been rated as, because it act at the immune cell response. So your immunity can be catered well when you are having a good dose of zinc and selenium and other vitamins. We cannot just count one vitamin B or C. You need multiple vitamins to really act as immunonutrients. So this was some kind of recommendations, but in COVID times, this is our requirement for day. But in COVID time, recommendation was somewhere from 500 milligrams to 2000 milligram, that is 2 grams per day. So whenever, just to give you an example, when you take any vitamins or any supplement, do not take with your tea, coffee, because the absorption does not happen. If you're taking an iron tablet, take it along with a vitamin C or a lemon squeezed in water. If you're taking vitamin C tablet, it is a water soluble vitamin. So if you take one shot, it will be when you pass your bladder or when you urinate, your vitamin C is lost. So take 500 milligrams as a 2 doses, or take it, you can keep it in a bottle and sip it intermittently. We've heard about all this, and in fact, turmeric latte, like cafe latte, got very famous during this COVID time. These are powerful antioxidants. Our food, herbs, and spices, which we have in our gardens, we have it in our shelves, have a powerful antioxidant. Believe me, and you know it, that none of these ingredients, any of all our Indian spices, have high potent antioxidant value, and we cannot eat like a large full. Amla has high level of vitamin C. Turmeric, use it in your food. As Indians, we do not have any problems with turmeric. Lemon, again, a good source of vitamin C. Lemongrass, it has medicinal properties which opens up the inflammation. So the respiratory tract issues, if we have upper respiratory, lower respiratory, all get cleared with tulsi, ginger, and lemongrass. That's why if you're accustomed to use, don't go by Google why it says, okay, make this kadha and have it, but check up that why is it being recommended? What is the potent ingredient in it which is required to have the health benefits? Yes, you may use this because it definitely has home remedial value. So at this point, I will take a halt, and if there are any questions, I welcome questions.
Fantastic session, Dr. Varsha. Gorey Mishraji will give the questions whatever we received from the participants. Meanwhile, I just want to clarify that lot of digestive biscuits and healthy snacks, packaged healthy snacks are coming in the market, and people generally in the evening eat along with tea. Whether you suggest for that, Dr. Varsha?
Yeah, thank you, sir, for this question. Because you said for snack, I'm very happy to hear for snack. But people morning when they wake up, they say chai or biscuit to chahiye. Plain chai piya nahi jata, biscuit to dukana hi hai. So that is our culture. So I would definitely not recommend this early morning culture of having biscuit. I missed out this important point in presentation because I have not put up a sample diet plan. It's a one-to-one individual sample. So if you're taking biscuit, limit on the portion control. So if you are eating like somewhere like 3 biscuits, it gives you about 100 calories. So if you're taking digestive, in my presentation, I did mention about fiber or multigrain concept. So initially, if you're eating biscuit, that was only maida, and maida has no faida. Maida comes and sits on your stomach, and it becomes a part of your intestine. More health issues occur. Imagine eating last night roti. How many of us will think of eating night roti in the morning or for your tea time? No one. So imagine the biscuit, the label. It has a shelf life of 9 months or 1 year probably. So if you do not have a choice, you can definitely eat biscuit. Don't start at the day in the early morning. Have it in the snack time. So have a multigrain biscuits. Have a variety. So somebody likes Monaco, you may have Monaco for the salt. For the fiber, you can take digestive biscuits, multigrain oats, or flaxseed, almond, and you get what not? You get a lot of variety. Check out a good snack biscuit is something where you get around 200 calories. So if it is a cream biscuit, maybe you can eat 1.5 or maybe 2. So for a young CA or young person, I would recommend up to 2 or 4, not a packet, because a packet of 100 grams has 350 calories, and those calories are coming from fats and carbohydrates. So go for a multigrain digestive biscuits. Control your portions, say about say from 2 to 4. Initially, suppose you were eating 6, come to half, come to 3 or 4. So that is my advice.
Okay, another thing is most of us are vegetarian. And we always, as you mentioned in your presentation also, that we have a deficiency of B12 and D3, because in city like Mumbai, it is very difficult to get sunlight in the morning. So how to get this B12 and D3 deficiency in our regular diet plan, what we should eat as a vegetarian? What do you suggest, doctor?
So B12 and D3 are two different vitamins. B12 is a water soluble, D is a fat soluble. More deficiency, what we have seen during the COVID time is of a D3. A, because they are not exercising. So there is no exposure to sun. So how do we get exposure to sun? There is a pigment in our skin, melanin. So when you get exposed to skin to the sunlight, there's a natural conversion and that gets absorbed in our body. Second, we need fats in our diet. So if you're taking natural fats, you do get vitamin D absorbed. But there's another disadvantage that being overweight has a risk of vitamin D deficiency, because if you are overweight, most of your fat soluble vitamins also takes in your fat cells, vitamin D also gets into it. So less is available for the bones. But if you exercise, you channelize, then your vitamin D can be retained and it can be increased by your cellular activity. Okay. For the dietary sources, dairy products is one. Sprouting of your grains, pulses adds to the vitamin D as well as B12. Dairy products is commonly a good source of B12. So if you are a dairy kind of what should I say, intolerant, or if you are on a lactose intolerance or allergic, then we may recommend you a B12 supplement. And for D3, you have to have a balanced diet. You include nuts and oil seeds. That is a very good source of both B12 as well as D3. And nuts become a very good part of your snacking item. So what my recommendations is to our, when you come to us as a clientele, that and everybody, as you say, when you're working, we want to munch something, because that crunch, our brain has identified that crunch. Now, how do we kind of make the brain forget that, it's not the fat calories? Make a mixture of murmuras, the green peas or the chanas, peanuts, maybe they're a little fried, then chanas, then you have makhana, almond, walnut, flaxseed. Mix it and keep it at your table. And at least your 2 handful, which is, if it is only nuts, the recommendation is to take 30 to 50 grams. 30 to 50 grams definitely has high calories. So if anybody asks us, ki nuts kam khana hai kya? First we say cut down on your oil, then you add your nuts. So if you want to eat 2 handful of nuts, you have to limit your oil intake. It's not that you eat vada pav, bhajiyas, and butter and lot of mayonnaise, cheese, plus you eat, and you are adding a lot of fat load. Okay, so include your nuts and flax seeds. Of digestive problems are also fiber. A lot of weightage has been given to pumpkin seeds, flax seeds these days. Today, when you buy that pumpkin, there are no seeds only available because all are commercialized. So these are the natural source of vitamin D as well, D3 as well as B12.
So what are the symptoms, madam, that B12 deficiency is there in my body? How I can find out any symptoms are there for that?
So this is a very intelligent question, I must say. And please, audience, please understand, we have not thought about these question answer session. But generally, when anybody comes to us for any diet consultation, we plan diet on ABCD. Anthropometrics, that is your weight height. B is your blood parameters. C is your constipation complaints, or whether you have, and D is your disease. So if anybody says, oh, I get pain, I'm not able to concentrate, neuromuscular anything activity. You people are always sitting and there's a lot of neuromuscular involvement. You complained about the joint extremities, your legs are not mobile. So if at the start, generally we recommend for B12, all these CBC, vitamin B12, D3, glycosylated hemoglobin, that is your 3 months average sugar, lipid profile, and thyroid if you're gaining a lot of weight in case of women. So if anybody complains us of any aches and pains, generally, कि उठने पे तकलीफ होता है, एक्सरसाइज करेंगे तो बॉडी में भी दर्द होता है, and so we definitely tell them B12 and D3. So it's a neuromuscular for D12, and for D3 there's a specific test which is for your bone kind of composition.
So you said while answering question that overnight made chapati. So do you recommend that we should eat along with the tea instead of biscuit in the morning?
Why not? Why not?
What
This is a
we
staple.
what we
If
used
you
to have earlier days.
No, yeah, if you
In our earlier
it's
days,
an
what we used
option
to have.
if you don't have in the morning to make someone fresh. If you have an option that somebody is making fresh and having, it's fine. But if you are eating, rather than you had a late meal or you have skipped your chapati, so rather than eating biscuit, your chapati is definitely a nutritious, because there are, please understand one more thing, that when we eat biscuits, it's not only how stale or fresh it is, but what are the chemicals which it goes in. There is a lot of soda going into it. There is a lot of preservatives, emulsifiers, and a lot of chemical. We feel what is the difference going to come in one biscuit. But please remember, when we take one sorbitol, which gives you chest pain, or when we take one anti, that is also a small tablet. So these chemicals, इतना सा soda add करने से you get a fluffy kind of food preparation, So the impact of these process is lots. And in long run, I really don't want to fear anyone, but in long run, chemical load has a carcinogenic effect. That is, it has a cancer kind of mechanism in your body. So you talk about tobacco, like it is not in my purview, but these are all oxidative substances. You take about tobacco, you talk about nicotine, uh, whatever pans you eat and smoking you adhere. A lot of chemicals get in your system. So how to control, my dear friend is going to discuss. Maybe in our series we would like to take up all such things. And youngsters are getting hooked on because they have a lot of free time, or there is a way they feel that is the way to take out frustration. So you can also, to take out this, you can even sip teas in between. You get green teas, black tea, herbal tea, anything. If you sip it in between, the tongue needs a little bit of cheat. So if you just keep on sipping that, you will get better. Alternative to add antioxidants is whatever vegetable fruits if you eat, if you have washed it and kept it in a glass or a bottle, all the nutrition from the peel gets into the water and you can drink that water. That is also a kind of a nutri water which I can recommend.
So do you recommend that we should have a green tea? Now you said, madam, we should have a green tea. And if yes, so how many cups we should have in a day? Whether we have a 8 to 10 cups or maybe 4 to 5 cups of green tea. So whether it has any side effect also?
Yes, anything in large is never recommended. Anything in moderation is welcome. And the difference between green tea and black tea is like something having fresh. Green tea is something which is plucked and naturally packed. So the best of the nutrition and the antioxidant, whatever that it is there in the leaf or the chai patti, is there in the green tea. And there's a way we make green tea. You boil the water, you just put a bag, or you just add the leaves, green tea leaves, and you allow it to settle and then drink it, so that there is no loss of these antioxidants. Green tea is known to have good antioxidants. It has some claims regarding weight loss, but I really have not seen any research paper. The catecholamines or the other flavonoids which are there in tea has really helped in weight loss. But it is a natural antioxidant. It is a natural filler. So you can take 2 to 4 cups also, because it's just like water. You're just dipping it and taking. But somewhere like 10 to 12 is not recommended. Definitely, people take much more for the sake of health or in an addictive way. Nothing in excess is recommended. Something which is about up to 4 cups is a good amount. You can go for it.
One question, if I can ask with the permission of chairman.
Hey, madam, please.
When
One question
see,
on your behalf also, I want to ask Preeti madam one question on your behalf. What we
okay,
have
so
observed, before that you ask, what we have observed that Indian women have a lesser hemoglobin generally. So what do you recommend for that? Because many of the Indian women are facing this issue.
Okay. Community schools are driving a lot of program on hemoglobin correction. Even Nutrition Day had this theme on Anemia Mukt Bharat, and last year I think it was going very, in 2019 it was a big program by the Prime Minister Modi sir. So indeed hemoglobin deficiency is a big problem, more challenge in women because of the natural monthly cycles. There is a loss of 1 gram up to 1 gram per month. We require about 30 milligrams of iron per day. But the problem is that whatever iron we take, all doesn't get absorbed. There are limited sources. So first I will help you with the sources. So good sources of iron-rich food is one, you cook your food in iron vessels. Predominantly, many people are preferring jaggery over sugar because jaggery has the way the jaggery is processed in iron kadhais, a lot of iron gets incorporated. That is why jaggery is considered better than sugar. Rice flakes, the pounding of rice flakes happens in those iron pots. Then leafy vegetables, rajma. Then after delivery, you have this halim laddu, the garden cress seeds, what we call it. Halim with coconut and jaggery. It itself is a good combination. Generally, those who are non-vegetarian, organ meat or liver is a best source. So for cholesterol issues, it is not a good source, but eating liver is a good source. And more important for absorption. Now let's look at how the absorption takes place, because you do not get iron absorbed easily. You need vitamin C. So those who want to increase their iron need to also increase their vitamin C in your diet, because in presence of vitamin C, the ascorbate will allow it to get into ascorbic acid, which will help the ferrous to ferric, that is iron is ferrous, to ferric absorption. So iron absorb करने के लिए vitamin C and proteins दोनों का जरूरी है. So make your diet enriched with vitamin C, proteins, and plus include the iron-rich sources what I just mentioned. So I think, and routine monitoring should help.
Great. So my
Yeah, Preeti
question
madam,
is,
your
yeah. So my
Sorry,
question
I
on behalf
missed
of,
on one more source is your dates, figs. These are also natural sources of iron. So if in a maternity patient, I can, the betel nut leaf, जो पान का पत्ता आता है, that if you eat with dates, flaxseed and soft, it's a natural antioxidant what you can consume at home, minus the pan masala.
great. So now this question on behalf of chairman. As doctor, you have said 9 glass of water to drink. So whether we should have a water from that matka, typical that matti ka matka, or we should have warm water or that normal water, or water in the iron bottle. Nowadays iron bottles are also coming and very famous. So how to drink, what type is suggested water?
So there are two aspects. You spoke about the temperature of water, and second is the source in which water is stored. You have not heard about gold and silver, but I'll just give you an example. When my son was born, I was told to give water using gold and silver coin. Touchwood, my son is very healthy. He's 23-year-old and he's a CS student also. Okay. So when you're talking about water, water at temperature, your body gets adjusted, because once you take into digestion, your body has to have that immunity. If you have a respiratory tract issues, you should not be drinking cold water, because it immediately gives you a spasm. So, आपको अगर sinus, tonsils, cough, allergies, ये है, so matka water is there. And if you look at it scientifically, matka earth is a natural element. So it definitely has its benefit. There is no disadvantages. From my perspective, the temperature of water is not important. It is how your body can cope up. But if you want to enrich your water, you can put it in copper, you can put it in brass, you can even boil with some tulsi leaves or something. If you look at Ayurveda, why I was giving the example of silver and gold is that Ayurveda, the medicines, some are very costly because there is some suvarna bhasma. So I believe we require these natural elements in very minutest amount. But I, being not from an Ayurvedic background, But I do understand that from nutrition perspective, every micronutrient, whether it is like silver or AG, like AgAU and all that, you require in a very, very minor amount, and it can be boiled, extracted. Even after cooking, you can keep it in a filter. Copper pots, you do get brass pots. You can utilize all this for your beneficially use.
Great.
We missed on saying not to use plastic because this world is of plastic.
Yes, yes. Now, that is
So
really
you
great
said,
insight. Yeah,
Doctor,
Manish.
you said 9 glass of water. If somebody is drinking more water, maybe 12, 13, or 14 glass, so whether it has any side effect also, or it's good whatever you drink.
Okay, so I just said this 9 glasses of water from perspective of good well-being, what a generally recommendation is. But there are two sides to it, that excess water, who shouldn't drink it, and excess water, who should drink it, who can drink. So when you have kidney stones and all, generally initially before directly going to surgeon, they said, "Aap zyada pani piyo, not beer, water." Then the kidney stone will get diluted and removed. So in such cases, maybe water in higher amounts, fluids, buttermilk, coconut water, they have a lot of aided benefits. There are 2-3 conditions when we really control water. One is kidney stone, high water, but CKD, that is chronic kidney disease, or if you are a patient of like near to dialysis, if the kidneys don't function well, they do not have urination also, like they get whole day urine 100 ml, 30 ml, something like. So such patients, we do not recommend high amount of water. For them, maximum amount they can take is up to 800 to 1 liter. Second condition is chronic cardiac failure patients. When you do a 2D echo, like you do sonography of stomach, you do 2D echo. I think you all must have sometime done in your life if you are 40 plus, 50 plus. So when you do 2D echo and your ejection fraction of heart, that is the cardiac pumping, if it is low, if you have a low EF, that is low ejection fraction of heart, you cannot drink more than a liter of water. So if you have a cardiac failure, you have a kidney issues. So in these two conditions, we recommend to cut down on water strongly. We have to literally count the water what the patients drink. We have to give them solution how to control their thirst. But other conditions you cannot. And excess water, what happens is your water soluble vitamins will get lost. Your sodium from your body will get lost. So to average out, we do say 1.5 2 liters, but there will be exceptions that when you sweat more, when you are in hot sun, the climatic changes, you would change your water based on that. One more point I will add about when to drink water, because that's often asked. You should drink water generally before meals or post meals, not along with the meals, because the enzyme which digests the food gets diluted and it is lost. तो अगर पानी पीने का एक आदत सही तरह से डालना है तो आपके खानों को पहले या खाने के बाद, so that your digestion by the enzymatic action is not suffered.
तो खाने के कितनी देर बाद पानी लेना चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ है डॉक्टर?
So roughly around 20 to 30 minutes is good. But buttermilk has an advantage. Buttermilk, dal water, patla, because it is a natural protein, whey proteins which is there in buttermilk, the B vitamins which is there, or if you are taking lemon water, so try to sip lemon water, something like that. Then it has an advantage because they are going to add to your digestion. Lactic acid is going to be available along with your enzymes for digestion. So these are some exception what fluids you can drink before meals or along with the meals. So lime water or mint, lime and mint, what you get it, and buttermilk is a good option.
So lime water you recommend that it should be had, we can have immediately after the meal. With
Kind
fresh.
of. You can lime. There is no kind of rule. Lime can be taken any time of the day because it's a natural vitamin C or ascorbic acid. So if you get acidity, also we kind of recommend lime water. So it is a natural detoxification element. So you can take it anytime. In fact, post meal you can even take lime shot. Just squeeze out lime and take about 1 or 2 spoons of lime. That's a good lime shot you can have after meals.
And
Okay,
before,
great.
when we are taking water before meal, so how much time before meal or immediately before meal?
Somewhere around before meals, it's okay because your process has not stopped. But good habit is half an hour before, half an hour after.
Okay.
Okay. Generally, what we have heard is that in night, in the evening, you should avoid having heavy meals like chapati, etc. You should have vegetable, fruits, or maybe a soup kind of thing for good digestion and everything. So, what do you recommend? Whether we can have rice in the night meal or we should avoid rice?
So basically, you are saying about the carbohydrate content: chapati, rice, bhakri, bread, rotla, whatever if we take. Uh, Firstly, suddenly, if I tell in the first follow-up people, stop your chapati rice completely, second time they will never come to us. We have to slowly make them accustomed. And whom do we recommend? If you have weight issues, if you are diabetic and you are really looking for a weight loss, we try to cut down on your carbohydrate content in your diets. So first follow up, if you come, we will not say stop your chapati or rice, because you will not feel full. You will feel hungry. At night, you will end up eating something more. So to start with, we gimmick you and tell you that if you're accustomed to eating 3 chapatis, go for 1 to 1.5. Then second thing is, you will say, oh, my stomach doesn't get full with 1 chapati. I need at least 2. So what I say, if it is a chapati or fulka paratha, or Indian chapati has 2 or 4 layers, or fulka has 2 layers. So you tear that layer and make it into 2. So no books will, give this practical guidelines on how you should eat chapati. If you are habitual to eating roll and eating chapati, never do that. If you really want to fill your stomach. First, you learn to cut down the number of chapatis. Second, third, follow up if you're really keen for weight loss. Probably we adjust those calories with your protein foods, sprouts, and then cut down your chapatis. But it is one of the ways which is told for patients who are keen to control their sugar, those are keen to control their cholesterol, weight issues, and major health issues. So from that perspective, carbohydrate is cut down at night. Even if you want to eat rice, suppose the amount of rice you're eating, you can make it half. And a good sequence is have liquids like a buttermilk soup or something, have salads, sabzis, dals, then your protein food, which would be a sprout or a dal or a non-veg item. And last, you should eat your chapati with your sabzi. You should have one portion of each. Then automatically your stomach will be full by 50% plus, and then you can cut down on the chapati content.
One question we have received from participants, and they are asking whether we should eat poha or upma in the breakfast or ready-made packaged food, or poha or upma, what you recommend?
So poha upma is fine to be eaten, but for me, when I had narrated that you should manage your oil intake from wellness perspective and obesity perspective, people who are healthy, weight frame, no challenge, youngsters in your house, you can have poha upma or dalia, whatever you want. But if you are weight conscious, I wouldn't recommend strongly on taking poha upma as a breakfast item, because we write that rice item once a day. So if you have eaten poha, your rice is done for the day. Again, when you make poha upma, you need to add oil. So if I have to plan a weight loss or a diabetic diet to control your sugars, I would recommend a breakfast which is oil free. Now, what are the options which are oil free? You can have your homemade paratha, theplas or whatever with a flaxseed or garlic chutney, green chutney. So that is almost oil free. You can have muesli milk because it's a mixture of multiple grains, or a cornflakes or a wheat flakes with lot of dry fruits, nuts added with the milk, because it's a compact meal. You can have boiled eggs. So at least 4 days we can try to have these 4 days, 5 days. So 6, 7 days, weekend, maybe we can, it's always okay to have such favorite items. So let's balance it out. Recommend this only over once or twice in a week, but 5 days go for an oil-free kind of a breakfast, which could be a chapati, thepla, sprouts, eggs, grain, cereal milk combo.
Fantastic.
Great. So what do you, Arpit, now?
Fantastic, madam. I think we could have gone on and on and on. These are something that are so good to know, but it's something, as you said, very hard to practice. And friends, let's today, all of us today, decide that whatever that we've heard, please write it down somewhere so that you can always refer it, and please keep practicing it. I think some of these are very vital, and always we come across these kind of information, but it's good to practice somehow. Let's today make sure that we practice it. Thank you, Varsha madam, for creating this wonderful session with us. And I'm sure we'll reap the benefits of our proper diet and ensure that we do justice to what we are doing. And the one word that you said, binge eating, I think that is something that we should always stay away from. So thank you very much, madam. And may I now invite Dr. Rituparna Ghosh, madam.
Thank
And
you.
please, madam, stay with us, because since both of you are in the same window, we will give a vote of thanks to both of you together at the end of the session.
Sure, I would like to conclude the session here from my part. But it's indeed a pleasure to talk to intellectual people like you who manage financial statement of ours and all the family. So to balance the equation, I hand it over to my friend colleague, Dr. Rituparna Ghosh.
Perfect. So we welcome Dr. Rituparna Ghosh, a MSc PhD Clinical Psychology, is a consultant psychologist at Apollo Hospitals. She has over 17 years of experience in the field of mental health and behavior, and has worked on mental health and well-being of children, adolescents, adults, and the elderly throughout the country and abroad. Her areas of interest include psychotherapeutic interventions and counseling of personality disorders, mood disorders, depression, anxiety, stress, OCDs. Her expertise also lies in neurotic and psychotic issues of mental health and other concerns related to everyday living and adjustment skills like conflict in relationships, drug abuse, emotional disturbances, and daily life stressors. She uses cognitive behavior therapy over behavior therapies, neuro-linguistic programming, skills, and creative art approaches in her practice. She is the recipient of Nirbhay Jyoti National Women Achievers Award 2018 for work on mental health. She has presented papers pan-India and abroad in various conferences, has also conducted multiple wellness training workshops. She is the joint director of Rewind and Recreate, a wellness training organization. Wonderful, what a personality and what a biodata that we've read out. I think it's really a pleasure that you've joined us. I request all of you to please join hands and welcome Dr. Rituparna Ghosh
Thank
amongst
you
us.
so much. Thank you. Thank you
Ma'am,
so much.
before you begin, let me also tell you, one of our chartered accountants, they work in one of the space called as forensics, wherein something which is very important is body language, psych, and behavior. So psychology also plays a big role here. So
Exactly.
that's a great common factor between you and us. So hope to hear from you, and over to you, madam.
Thank you so much. Nice. Mine is open, PPT. Can you
Madam,
please do the slide share?
we'll just give you an option to share your screen. Mishra ji?
मैडम शो माय स्क्रीन करिए, आपको स्क्रीन शेयरिंग का ऑप्शन मिल गया है.
Is it visible to all of you?
No, not yet.
नहीं मैम, मैम 2 मिनट वापस
Just a
देता हूँ मैं
second.
आपको.
Just a second.
Madam, we'll give you once again. Then you'll have to accept it.
अभी करिए मैडम.
Perfect.
Okay.
तो करिए.
You can see the earlier thing. Yeah.
Slide share is there.
All the participants, may I request all of you, if you have any queries, anything that you wish to ask, you can please put that up in the questions or the chat box so that we can take it up appropriately. It always makes a lot of difference when we answer some real-time queries as well.
Can you
Madam,
please
put it
help
on.
us with the, just a second.
Madam, perfect. You can just put
Screen
it
is visible.
visible, madam, visible now.
Ghosh, your screen is visible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ये चीज नहीं, but I can't see them. Can you close them? Where do I cross it? Screen. Okay, fine. Okay. So I guess now it's good evening. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. So I'll directly start my presentation now. But since last 1.5 years, I'm doing webinars. And before I start, I always start with one short sensitization towards mental well-being. Because as we all know, still in our Indian society, we have a lot of stigma and prejudice related to mental health. So whenever we have a stomach pain or a body ache or a fever, it's so easy for us to pick up the phone receiver, call up a physician and ask them, what medicines we can take. And we share it with our family members that we are not keeping well, with our friends, and we get ourselves treated and we are fine. But if we start feeling sad, if we start feeling anxious, thousands of times we feel embarrassed to tell others the same thing. My question to everyone is that why this difference or demarcation between physical and mental well-being? It is almost the same thing, because the way we love and care our body, the same way we need to love and care about our mind, because our holistic well-being lies in the totality and the integration of both the functioning of the mind and body together. So it's high time we need to break this stigma. We need to break the shackles of prejudice and come up and share and say, people, I'm feeling sad. There's nothing to feel embarrassed about it. But one thing I would say during this pandemic was a blessing in disguise, that people started realizing the importance and the value of mental health. Because we all know, along with this pandemic, mental well-being is also simultaneously going on as a secret pandemic. So with this, I would start my presentation. I've named it as mental well-being during pandemic, because yes, all of your wellness matters. Before I go into the details of it, we all know that mental health is the level of psychological well-being, and it means the absence of mental illness. It is the state of someone who is functioning at a satisfactory level of emotional and behavioral adjustment. Why they have used the word satisfactory level? Because there is nothing as right or wrong, normal or abnormal. What is normal in one society can be considered as abnormal in another society. So we need to understand that illness can happen both in our body and in our mind. So when COVID came up, it was rather an invisible contagion. It was a totally uncertain battle for the human race. And that entailed so much of stress and anxiety, worry about our own health and the wellness of others. Life was never the same like we had it till 2019, or rather I would say before 20th March 2020. So fear and anxiety started cropping up because it was questioning our existence, our struggle for survival. So this is the time we need to take care of our mind the way we take care of our body. Let's see, what are the stress factors right now that we all are encountering? Stress can be physical, psychological, emotional, social, and behavioral. I would just give you a little bit of glimpse about the manifestations of various types of stress. Many a times I see so many clients every day in the hospital, in my private practice. They come up with so much of concerns with, stomach pain, headache, but all their physical reports are normal. It is actually because of stress. So the physical manifestations of stress can be headaches, chest pain, stomach upset, disturbed sleep and appetite, lack of energy and vitality. Psychological and emotional factors can be too much of worry and anxiety related to the virus, leading to restlessness, feeling overwhelmed by whatever is happening outside, lack of motivation and focus, insecurity. In severe cases, people are suffering from concerns like clinical depression. And yes, many people, about 60% of people I see in my practice having OCD-like symptoms right now, that is obsessive compulsive disorder. I'll just explain you. Right now, every time, there's a repetitive and obsessive fear of getting contracted by the virus. And because of that, we are continuously and compulsively doing activities so that, to work on our precautions. I'm seeing people coming to me who are washing hands all the day. Now see, of course, we have to increase our precautionary measures. But the thing is, every day, if you're washing your hands all the time, that needs clinical intervention. So those symptoms are happening because of this COVID-19. The behavioral or social manifestations of stress can be poor concentration, irritability, anger, too much of drinking and smoking, social withdrawal, and poor decision making. Let's see how this anxiety cycle works. In this world, everything which is uncertain makes us feel anxious. Now, this COVID-19, when 2020 was finishing, it was coming to an end, we were so happy. Gaya ye saal. We were so happy. We never knew, again in April 2021, a second surge will come, which will be much more severe than last year. So things are so uncertain. And as human beings, we have this urge to control the future. And when we are unable to do so, there's continuous failure to control the future, and there's an all-time and uncertainty. We tend to catastrophize events. What is that? If the outside situation is 80% threatening, we perceive it to be as 100% or rather more than 100% threatening, which leads to a lot of stress and yes, panic. And the more we panic, again, we catastrophize and exaggerate the event. So this goes on and on as a cycle. Now let's see, there's a very beautiful picture which I got here. Anything in the world, if you want to work on your psychological well-being, on your mental health, the first thing is to accept the situation the way it is. The more you deny a situation, the more you internalize your stress, you don't express it, the more it leads to severe consequences in the later days to come. So acceptance is the first and foremost pathway towards working on your mental well-being. You need to externalize your stress. For example, like suppose in this picture, you can see the diagram says it's raining. So if you deny the situation, no, it's not raining, I don't like rain, my day would have been better had it not been raining, continuously there will be a frustration in your mind. Rather, if you accept it, okay, so it's raining, now let me find out what can I do to work and coordinate my activities, accepting the fact that it's raining. So the first and foremost step to work on acceptance, which is a key or the first pathway towards mental well-being, is to make a division or a demarcation between the things that are not under your control and the things that are under your control. Now, suppose I'm seeing so many people, they even have friends and all, they keep on asking, when will this virus go away? When will the virus, when will this uncertain situation end? When the pandemic will go away? How accurate are the TV news and statistics? How much control? How will people react to us? These are things for which we don't have an answer. So the more we ask these questions to ourselves, we feel more frustrated. So the first thing for acceptance is to divert our focus from the external locus to the internal environment or locus. Now, in our internal or immediate environment, what are the things we can do? We can increase taking our precautions, giving more time towards hygiene and care, maintaining proper social distancing, limiting our travels, limiting news watching, spreading kindness and compassion in others' lives, doing a lot of hobbies and unwinding ourselves with our families during this lockdown time, and yes, keeping ourselves mentally connected with others. These are the things we can do which is under our control. So the shift has to be there from uncertainty to certainty, wherein the things which we can control, we need to do right now. That will help us to work on our acceptance. Now, before I go into the details of your mental well-being, of stress management, first some tips about how to deal with anxiety during this crisis phase. First and foremost is understanding the triggers from where the anxiety is coming. So for example, if you every time notice that whenever you watch news, you tend to feel anxious, you need to curb your news watching. Then focus on things that I just discussed in my previous slide, the things that you can control. Focus on things on which or to which you have a knowable answer. Shift your focus from the external to the internal world. And this is the time wherein you need to live in the present. You need to plan one day at a time and do those activities, and do not stick too much to perfect solutions, because this is not the time to show your perfectionism. This is the time to celebrate your efforts. If you're doing something, you're putting an effort, do praise that for yourself. Live one day at a time, live in the present. Trust me, a day will come when you look behind and say, wow, I could finish my tasks for the whole week by focusing on one day at a time. Another point, very important to work on anxiety, is to reframe statements from negative to positive. I'll just give you an example. What happens during this lockdown? People continuously give themselves negative connotations. Why this lockdown has happened? It's making me feel claustrophobic. I can't go out. The more you give these negative affirmations to yourself, the more you will feel stressed out. Rather, if you reframe the statements and make them a bit positive by telling yourself, you know, like, this lockdown is giving me a lot of opportunity to spend time with my family members. It's giving me some time to nurture my hobbies. Automatically, a shift from negative to positive will happen in your brain and you'll feel better. Avoid asking what if questions. Like I said, what will happen if this happens? We don't know. So don't ask yourself future questions much. Rather, focus in the present and here and now. Another thing, whenever you are calling your friends, meeting somebody, don't let Corona predominate your conversations. You can discuss light topics, humor, sports, movies. I'm seeing majority of the people only discussing Corona. That aggravates our anxious reactions. Very, very important. Acknowledge that sometimes it's okay to slightly be anxious. You know, there's a very popular saying, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to say so. Fine, you are not only the person who is feeling stressed out. 99.9% of people, including all of us, are feeling stressed. So try to accept it and acknowledge it. Another important point, don't use alcohol or any addictive substance to come out of this agitation and irritability, because that will only give you a temporary solace and relief. In the long run, what will happen? Stress will again come back undoubtedly, and at the same time, you will get addicted to the substance. This is the time, uncertain periods, we feel powerless. The more we help others, the more we spread positivity in our community, the more we add purpose and meaning to our and others' lives. Also, you know, at times just sit and try to find out the strengths or the winning mechanisms that you had used earlier in crisis situations in your past years. Try to work on those strengths again. And if at all you are watching news, focus as well on the recovery history of people, because India's recovery rate, no matter what, has been always good. Dr. Varsha already has described very elaborately about diet and sleep, so I'm not getting too much into detail. Still, I would say for sleep, any stress reaction disrupts our sleep cycle. And you know what? Work from home doesn't mean work from bed. So if you want to keep that, you know, vibe within you that you are still on that work spree, get up and maintain fixed routines of wake up and wind down cycle. Dress up, sit on your chair and work from your table. Try to read a little bit of light stories and meditate before sleeping. Try sleeping in a dark room. Avoid watching too much of sensational news, using electronic gadgets before sleep. Try to do digital detox at least 1 hour before you go to sleep. Don't take too much of long naps during daytime, because that can also disrupt your proper sleep during night. If you have any problem, try solving it during day. Also, if you're not getting sleep, don't lie down idly. Get up, drink some water, do some deep breathing exercises, and then try coming back and sleeping. Try to keep your home environment very clean, because that leads to proper sleep and gives us mental calmness and peace. Reduce alcohol intake, and yes, already Ms. Varsha described that to increase your circadian rhythm, you need proper 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, along with spending some time in sunlight during the day. Now, I have tried to touch some areas of, of our society that has got adversely affected during this crisis, the mental health. One of them is interpersonal relationships. As rightly said by somebody was discussing right now about domestic violence. Very true, you know, people are spending majority of the time together at home. So there's a lot of conflict, arguments happening among couples, among family members, with children, with in-laws. I'm seeing so many, I do a lot of couple counseling. I'm seeing so much of conflicts and problems happening in marital life right now during this lockdown. So managing interpersonal relations during this tight quarters is also very important. How you need to work upon is that you need to find out some time for yourself. After work, you are dedicating, suppose 2 hours to your family. Try keeping 3 hours, 2 hours for family and 1 hour for yourself. Self-time, investing in self-care is very, very important for your mental well-being. So even if you're spending time with your family, spend 1 hour for yourself, nurturing hobbies, cultivating things of your interest. Just by sitting in the balcony, sipping a cup of tea or coffee is also so rejuvenating, listening to music. We were not getting these things to do earlier. Something is there in a blessing in disguise. Try to nurture that. To work on interpersonal conflicts, to reduce violence at home, you need to divide your tasks among yourselves. It's not necessary that if a homemaker, a lady is there at home, it's her responsibility to manage everything. We need to break those gender inequality cycles. Try to divide your tasks among each one of you, whether an old person is there, whether a child is there, because the more you divide your tasks, and at the end of the day, just check how it has been done. Don't blame or accuse each other. As I'm saying again and again, this is not the time to stick to perfect solutions. If a person has put their efforts, try to celebrate that and try to appreciate the person. Focus on the strengths of the relationship, because this is the time wherein you can build in or strengthen your family bonds. Because a time will come when you will feel good that even during crisis, you so well managed your interpersonal relationships. Because why domestic violence is increasing right now? Because people are getting frustrated sitting at home. They don't know what to do. Drinking is increasing, addictions are increasing, and obviously a lot of verbal and physical abuse among partners is happening. So the more you sit together, divide your tasks, respect each other, celebrate your efforts, refrain from blaming and accusing, how beautiful you can work in this relationship is also something that is very, very important for your mental well-being. Another thing, because before I get into the corporate part, also this is a very, very important thing for all of you to know. I'm sure everybody has families. Children, they have got very, very badly affected during this pandemic. Somehow they finished last 1 year, again the same thing happening this year. So dealing with their anxiety and fear is also important. For very small children who can act as a role model, because they don't understand too much of nature of the virus, they can just be told to follow what their elders or parents are following. But for older children, for adolescents, you have to give them a reason. Unless and until you explain them why these precautions are being taken, they will defy you, because that's the nature of adolescent, that age group, that puberty group. So be proactive with your child. Involve them in productive and mentally stimulating activities. Very important. I always tell all the parents whose children come to me that narrate the situation about the virus in a very simple manner, but make sure you can give them the whole information in a very non-overwhelming way. Don't create panic. And try to tell them why they are being not allowed to meet their friends right now. I'm sure if you show your adolescents or older kids the reason that by not meeting their friends physically, they are doing good to themselves and also helping their friend not to get infected, they will listen to you. Show the positive sides of lockdown and explain efforts and states whatever efforts the whole country is taking. Involve your child in decision making. Very, very important to help them to learn real life experiential learning. Ask them, you tell me what precautions can be taken. That will instill a lot of responsibility in them. They will feel that sense of belonging and acceptance in the family. Let them express, let them verbalize their fears if they are having something. Involve them in career plans and future plans. And yes, since children are getting too much addicted to screen right now, you need to motivate them to do activities offline, which can be done offline, should never be done online. Motivate them to do activities which involve a lot of motor movements like dancing, cooking, baking, watering plants, doing yoga online, learning something. A lot of motor movements in children helps to channelize so much of pent up energy they have within themselves that gets channelized in a very proper way through a positive outlet. So help them to do such activities, and at times after your work, become a children and play with them. That's very, very important, how you introduce fun and humor in their activities. Focus on their efforts. And as I always say, don't stick to solutions, just focus on the efforts if they are putting that. And also motivate them to let them go for out of the box thinking. Now coming to a very, very important thing in today's world, work-life balance. Too much of frustration, people are, it's happening, we have to manage our work, working from home, we have to manage our household chores, it's lack of teamwork, people are feeling frustrated, guilty, anxious, social life has decreased, always there's a difficulty in handling home and work life, how to separate them. And yes, this is one thing which is very important to work on work-life balance. You need to create boundaries. You need to tell yourself, I'm not going to do any official work after office time is over, because this is the time wherein I will discuss in my later slides how the team leader has to work in sync with all the team members. You need to share your responsibilities, do meditation, inculcate hobbies post work. This is the only way you can maintain work-life balance. This is the time when you need to adapt to change. A change has happened. You need to accept and adapt it. You need to innovate new ideas, improve accordingly, and simultaneously evolve yourself and others in your team. This is the time wherein you need to help your employees as a team leader to cope up with this situation that has arisen due to the pandemic. You need to adapt towards this new normal, stay alert and focused to understand the rapid changes and adapt to it. Always try to keep your team motivated and aligned. Accept the reality. Don't give false, promises or false reassurance to people. Just tell them very clearly how much you can give as a team leader. Try to communicate more on video calls, because the more you see each other, that strengthens, your group bonding. Very important to work on your team. You need to assess and understand in your team who are introverts and who are extroverts. Trust me, people who have an introvert personality, they are still fine with lockdown. But people who are a little extrovert, they are having major issues. So you need to connect with them more on video calls. Don't give false reassurance, and try to explain the clear picture to everybody. That is very, very important. You need to set boundaries on work schedule, because this is the time you need to develop a new mindset, and that will actually help in new evolvement of new things in your life. Avoid being too over demanding. This is not the time to stick to perfectionism. Share well-being goals. Do some meetings on mental health awareness. Very important. And like people who are working from home, all the virtual meets and all, at least twice in a month, you should have virtual coffee meets as well, to just connect, not discuss work at all, but to just connect and share your ideas, concerns, coffee sessions. Very, very important to work on strengthening your mental wellness and team bonding and group cohesiveness. Remember, this is the time wherein the entire leadership, irrespective of the hierarchy, should come together, sing the same song in the same rhythm, because this is the time you need to buy loyalty along with empathy. That will only retain the best assets. So this is the particular situation to work on your mental well-being. You need to connect with others on board, and you need to increase your mental connect. When people feel upset, I cannot meet everyone physically, I cannot go out socially and talk to people. I always say, why don't you do a video call or a phone call and just chat? Mental connectivity has to get enhanced this point of time. Do something nice for each other, because this is the time you need to enhance community well-being and build a connect with fellow teammates. That will not only have a positive impact on you, but on the life of others. Now, since, of course, we are doing this presentation for all chartered accountants, I thought this is also very important. You all are much more efficient in understanding this. But yes, this is the time we all know economy has gone down, and managing your finances is something which we need to take care of. So, you know what? Unfortunately, or I would say fortunately, COVID reduced our needs. Earlier, we never thought whether we had a home to stay or food to eat. We were busy doing and planning bigger things in life. We were aspiring for bigger goals in life. but COVID made us realize that how blessed we are if we have a shelter or a home to stay, food to eat, and take care of our basic needs. So we need to reduce our need state and focus on our basic needs right now. The more we increase our need state as of now, it will lead to frustration and ruin our mental well-being. And we all know if we spend a little less now, that means we are saving that money, and that is somewhere we are earning that. We need to prepare a financial document, make a list of all the investments, and then plan ahead. Try to reduce credit card use, too much of panic buying, panic withdrawal of money, and avoid buying too much of non-essential items right now. Check which expenses can be cut down. Minimize monthly bills. Take a stock of your non-cash assets and maximize their value. Look for some extra ways to do some extra income you can, if you can. Any which ways, discussing and planning your budgets, expenses, investments, and savings with your, of course, you all are chartered accountants, along with that, HR people in companies. That is very important. At the same time, God forbid, if any health emergency happens at home, you should always keep separately an emergency fund, because you're assured that that money is there to take care of the emergency that moment. Prioritize your payments. Make sure you have enough money that at least the every month bills can be paid. Check that you have a proper health insurance cover. That's very important. Have financial protection before investing. And yes, try, we need to invest less right now in debt funds, because in case already the economy is down, in case we invest a lot in debt funds and there's a loss incurring, we are incurring a loss, or we are too much into borrowing and all, that will also add on to our mental stress and adversely affect our mental well-being. This slide is very, very important, because this was not that much of importance last year, but this year in the second surge, in all our families, we have lost our near and dear ones in this surge. And I'm seeing a lot of clients who have lost their very close people, and they are going into utter depression. They are getting suicidal. They don't want to live. They want to, even kill their children and commit a suicide. I have seen such intense cases also in the hospital, in my private practice as well. So it's very important to know how to deal with grief and bereavement right now. First of all, we all are human beings. We are not robots, or we are not machines. We have emotions. We need to acknowledge our pain. If we are feeling sad because of some loss in the family, that's normal. Crying, I always tell my clients, sit, you want water, I'll give you. Please, if you feel like, please cry. Crying is a very, very healthy emotion. You need to vent out. You need to externalize your stress. The more you internalize it, it leads to severe consequences later. So cry, acknowledge your pain, accept the fact that you are feeling sad. Seek out one-to-one support from people who care about you. That's very important, to tell people that I can't bear this loss. Help me to get over it. Help me to come out of it. And yes, you need to give yourself the time, because if a trauma reaction has happened, it takes time for our mind and brain to get attuned and accept the fact and come out of it. We are not machines here. A trauma happened, the next day we are smiling and laughing. I mean, that is not actually acceptable. We take time, and we need to give ourselves the time to come out of it. Understand everyone's grieving process is unique in themselves. So every person has a different way, every person has a different way to feel upset and sad. Every person's reaction towards grief is different. So accept that fact. And if it's too intense, it's hampering your daily life, do seek professional help. This is the time we need to show compassion towards each other, help and assist each other to enhance community well-being, be empathetic and show gratitude. Gratitude building is so, so amazing and beautiful. If you say a thank you towards every people who are there with you in this pandemic, you'll feel so much better. Your mental well-being will get tenfold nurtured. Show some sensibility and sensitivity. So let us not hurt each other during this phase through interpersonal distrust and disregard, because these traits, trust me, spread faster than the virus. This is the time when we need to spread community well-being. This is the time when we need to stay positive. And I always tell my clients, my friends, rather myself as well, that there's a difference between your mind getting feeded up with negativity. Please don't Google, seek information and watch too much of news. It's feeding up to your fear. It's creating sensation. Rather, practice mindfulness. You don't have to be a trained therapist, or you don't have to be a trained trainer to understand basically how a structured meditation can be done. You can just sit in one corner of your room which you feel safe. I'm sure every person has a room or a corner in their space where they like to spend time whenever they are calm and whenever they feel peaceful there. Just sit there, close your eyes. You can play some soothing music in the background. Breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly for 15-20 minutes. And while you do it, just tell in your mind, I'm feeling relaxed, I'm feeling relaxed. And at the same time, you can just have a visual imagery in your mind, visualizing something happy or beautiful that you have done in your life or you want to do in future. Trust me, for that moment, entire stress for that period will go away. That is how mindfulness exercises are done. Just try to focus on the things you can hear that moment, you can smell that moment, you can touch that moment. Automatically, the shift you will get switched off from all the bigger spheres of the external world, and your concentration will get focused on the internal environment of yours. Try living every moment and focus your energy and enjoying that moment. This is the time when we need to know the importance of laughter and how we need to learn to choose happiness. A very small exercise, I would say, you can practice in your life right now for some time. Every night before going to sleep, we call this as a pleasure journal or a happiness journal. Write down 2 things that has made you happy in the whole day, even for 5 minutes. Focusing majorly on the small pleasures of life, like suppose having an ice cream. Even if you have a whole stressful day, I'm pretty sure 2 things we do in the whole day that makes us happy even for 5 minutes. Having an ice cream, chatting with a friend, sipping a cup of coffee made me feel good. Even I was so stressful the whole day. That coffee sipping thing you write in your happiness journal that night. Trust me, these small things, if you do, it works on your well-being right now and in your life each and every day. And it will help you to live every moment of the present situation. Now, some tips how you need to reintegrate into the new normal. We all know and we need to accept that this fear of virus that we are having will stay here for some more time. But the main thing is, if we have a proper exit policy, proper guidelines, that reduces a lot of uncertainty and enhances our safety. A very good exercise, of with many people it is happening who haven't gone out much outside this last 1.5 years. They feel very nervous if they have to go out even once or twice to office, or maybe for some shopping or something. We call this exercise as creative visualization of the brain. If you are taking proper precautions, the moment you are stepping out, just tell yourself one question in your mind: what positive purpose will it solve if I go out today and do the activity? Trust me, you'll get that answer from within that will help you to go out, do that activity and come back with all enthusiasm. This is the time. Don't make bigger plans. I saw so many people who booked big vacation tickets 2021 because they were very sure that 21 there won't be any virus. But later they had to cancel everything. So don't make very bigger plans. Focus, because our brain got attuned to a lot of things in 1 year. First, till March, everything was fine. Then this lockdown happened, which we were never prepared in the last, in this decade. Then again an unlock happened. Then again the virus is back. So again a lockdown. So there's a continuous switch, of our brain to get attuned to the changes in the situation, which never happened till 2019. So give yourself the time to get accustomed to it. The moment you start partying, going out, meeting a lot of friends, you'll feel overwhelmed. So go gradually. Don't do things abruptly right now. And yes, connecting to nature, very, very important. Go out for walks with precautions. Try connecting with nature. It's very, very healing. And yes, anything in life, before you spread positivity in others' life, you need to work on your positivity. Self-care is a must. If you can see this beautiful picture where it is mentioned, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. So until and unless you take care of yourself first, how will you take care of others? So self-care, investing on yourself is very, very important right now, which we never did before COVID came in. So let's see what are the everyday dose of these stressors: jogging, walking, dancing, gardening, creating something new for ourselves, sharing our feelings, meditating, keeping ourselves hydrated, drinking a lot of water, saying thank you to each other, that's showing gratitude, listening to our favorite music, lighting a lamp. Trust me, many times, suddenly we have these panic reactions. Just go and smell a flower or a fruit. Immediately a switch happens and you'll feel de-stressed. Find a quiet spot, go there, your happy corner, spend some time there, breathe slowly, you'll feel better. And always remember, you are not alone, you are loved. So you can see this umbrella, it's showing that you need to take care of yourself first. So this is the time wherein we need to work towards our mental wellness. Exercising at least 30 minutes every day, reading often, boosting your levels of vitamin D, taking time to relax, taking up a new hobby, actively managing your health. Try engaging in stimulating conversations with people that keeps you and that person motivated. Spending time with people whose company you enjoy. Identifying your strengths, weaknesses, and creating boundaries accordingly. Setting realistic goals, very, very important. Whatever you can achieve, just focus on that. Don't get too over demanding about yourself. This is not the time to do so. Express yourself and ask for help. There's nothing to feel ashamed of that. If you're feeling that something is actually disturbing you, you are not able to carry out your daily life activities properly, trust and share with your friends, family, and with mental health professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists if you need help. There's nothing to feel upset about it. This is the moment to work on your mental well-being. You need to develop a growth mindset. And as I said in the beginning, reframing statements. So instead of saying, I'm not good at this, try thinking, what am I missing right now? Telling yourself in place of I give up, I'll use a different strategy. It's good enough. Is this really my best work? So if it's not, I need to put up more. I can't make this any better. In place of that, I can always improve. This is too hard. No, this may take some time, but I'll work on it. I made a mistake. Nay, mistakes help me to learn. I just can't do this. I'm going to train my brain. I'll never be that smart. I will learn how to do this. Plan A didn't work, so what? So what? There's always a plan B. My friend can do it. I will learn from them. So this is the mindset we need to develop, not only during this crisis, but in general as well, to keep working on the betterment of our mental well-being. Because remember, never let your circumstances define you. I always tell these things to my clients when they come and tell me, ma'am, I have this disorder. Ma'am, I am having some, personality disorder. I always tell them that disorder doesn't define you. It is not your identity. It is a problem. We'll work on it. So never let your circumstances, never let this pandemic define you. If you're feeling anxious, it's okay. Come and share. Embrace the struggle and transform yourself. We all know an uncertain time actually gives rise to a lot of alternative solutions in our lives. And yes, this is the time we need to prioritize what strengthens us. We need to work as a team together, and we will surely work on this very soon. So we all know that this pandemic has introduced all of us to a new rhythm of life. This is the moment we need to enhance and focus more on our self-care, and then that will lead to less stress and more wellness. So let's move unitedly towards the road of overcoming this crisis. And remember, the fear, the worry, the anxiety, it's not happening to only you. We are all in this together. And yes, before we end, I always say, let's talk about mental health, because the more we talk about it, the more we empower others to say, actually, I am not okay. So the more we talk about it, others will also get motivated to say, hey, I'm also not okay. Tell me, what should I do? This has to be the attitude, And yes, remember always, the secret of being happy is to accept what you are getting in life right now and making the most of every day. So communicate with each other as much as you can, connect mentally as much as you can, and create a safe and lovely and beautiful environment. Stay safe, because remember, your well-being matters. And I would like to finish my presentation with a very, very beautiful quote by Tully Kupferberg: when patterns are broken, new worlds emerge. So we all should be sure enough, since the pattern has broken, something beautiful should surely come up. Thank you so much.
So, Dr. Ghosh, it was a very fantastic deliberations by you towards mental well-being, and we'll see that if any questions are there. So, मिश्रा जी कुछ questions है?
नहीं मैडम, अभी तो क्वेश्चन नहीं आया मैंने।
हेलो हेलो
मिश्रा जी कुछ questions है क्या?
नहीं मैडम, क्वेश्चन नहीं है अभी तक।
हाँ
एंड कर लेना ना।
हाँ हाँ
यस
Madam, Dr. Ghosh, one question is, stress lead to sleep disorder. So how to get good sleep?
I think I discussed about the sleep thing, and see, initially if the sleep is getting disrupted, we can't term it as a disorder. If it's persisting for a long time, yes, and at the same time, like the points I discussed, we need to be I would say very clear about the thing that we are observing those things, because stress and sleep is very, the more you are stressed, the more your sleep gets disrupted. So if you want a restful sleep, you should follow those things of meditating, trying to digitally detox yourself an hour at least before sleeping, at the same time eating healthy and sleeping in a dark room, not trying to think too much about anything before sleep. And yes, very important, if it's becoming a disorder or it's too much, then you need to seek some professional help, wherein the therapist or the doctor can give you, some tips to work on ways to meditate or some deep breathing exercise to work on.
For mental health, what do you suggest, whether we should read book or we should go on mobile, because we are seeing that children nowadays are full time on mobile. So
Yes.
how we distract them from mobile or
exactly. So that's what I discussed. See, the thing is, since nowadays both the parents are working, they have this idea that if we make the child sit with a cell phone, hame pareshan nahi karenge, we are also busy with their work, they will get engrossed in the thing. That's a very wrong way. Because many a times, I see clients coming to me, small children. So they have all the material possessions. They have the costliest mobiles we can even think of at this age. But when we ask them why you are not happy, so I have seen this child came to me last week. He just held the hands of both the parents and said, I just need my parents to talk to me. And trust me, it was so sad to hear that, because it's a big role or a very pertinent role the parents have to play here. That at times you need to just, because children model you, so you also need to switch off or do some digital detox, and at that moment you need to spend your time with your children post your work. And as I'm again and again saying, activities that can be done offline should never be promoted or encouraged to do online. Involve your kids in activities like dance, music, reading, singing, writing, drawing, painting, and sit with your child and do it with themselves. Read them stories. Give them situations which we call as real life experiential learning, wherein tell them a story and ask them what can be the end, end of the part of the story. So those things help the child to think creatively. It actually enhances their innovative thinking. So as parents, this is a very, very important role to imbibe or help imbibe your child to just go out of mobile and spend some good time with family and with activities that can be done offline, because you have to continuously motivate your child towards activities that are actually done without a mobile.
Doctor,
Dr.
I had one
Ghosh.
question. Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
You continue.
One question, Dr. Ghosh. Nowadays, we are work from home. So now we are 24/7 on job. And like big corporates and some consulting firms are really expecting employees to work 24/7. So how to overcome this stress, this mental stress?
Yes, so that's what I was actually discussing. That even if I totally agree to your question, sir, that obviously we have to be glued 24/7. But I would suggest in between that 24/7, if at least half an hour or 1 hour, we just switch off and spend some time with ourselves, nurturing some hobbies, something that will enhance our well-being, that will make us feel happy. That is very important, because otherwise our brain gets cluttered and it may go to a level wherein we start suffering from burnout symptoms. And that time it will lead to a lot of mental health issues, anxiety, stress, and in severe cases, even depressed mood. So basically, to reduce that burnout, we need to de-stress for at least 1 hour in the day. Half an hour with our family, at least minimum, and half an hour with ourselves. Very, very important, even if we are working 24/7. That's very important, to make some modifications in our lifestyle management, going for a little bit of walk, and, doing something online, doing some courses of yoga, then spending good time with our family, playing carom, anything wherein we are not working, whatever is our day-to-day work, basically. So yeah, that's very, very important. And people say that we don't get time, but I deny to accept that, because half an hour, 1 ghanta, I think we will get for ourselves. That's very important.
Okay, so doctor, I had one question. I had heard from somebody that when there is a lot of Wi-Fi network in the room, you don't get good sleep. So is there any merit in that?
I don't think so. I've never
Okay.
experienced that. I mean, I'm hearing this from you first time, but I don't think that is. And if it's so, like, then of course, maybe during sleep time you need to switch off your Wi-Fi. But I don't think that is any reason that will actually lead to any sort of distress in your mind.
So I have also heard that you should not have the phone next to you when you go to sleep, because that disturbs your sleep because of the
Yeah, definitely. That is very
electromagnetic
important.
field. And
That's a tip I always give, that don't charge your phone near your bed. Because what happens, it's very easy to sit and put a charger and access. So when you're going to sleep, try to keep your phone aside. Keep it somewhere where it's not reachable. You can keep it on a non-silent mode, of course, because you may get an emergency call or something, but don't keep it very close to you and don't charge it near your bed. And try to refrain from any sort of mobile usage while you are having a family dinner time or a lunch time. That's very, very important.
So any question from your side, Rushti madam, Preeti madam?
I think all the questions are answered, and the presentation was so fantastic. So a lot of insights and inputs from that. And with the permission of a chairman, we can propose a very worthy vote of thanks to both doctors.
Varsha, I'll call her.
Chairman. Yeah. So, my dear participants, all of you will agree that it was really.
Yeah, over to you, Preeti madam.
Yeah. So, friends, dear all participants, all of you will agree that we had a really fantastic session on diet as well as mental health, which is very necessary. Actually, these things are necessary from beginning, but now because of pandemic, we have realized the actual importance of these things, mental health as well as the diet. And we had excellent sessions by Dr. Varsha and Dr. Ghosh. So on behalf of WIRC, we have Chairman Manish Ghadi and entire team putting lot of efforts to bring to all the members of WIRC the excellent sessions and the knowledge required on online platform during this pandemic. So, Dr. Varsha and Dr. Ghosh, you have really had an excellent session, and all the queries of all the participants have also been solved. So, on behalf of WIRC and all the participants, I propose a very worthy vote of thanks from the bottom of my heart, and we look forward again your sessions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Really excellent session. Lot of doubts have been cleared. Great.
Thank you very
And
much.
we will
special
come to.
Okay. We are
special
also
thanks.
available on Apollo 247. That's an online app. So if there's anyone who wants to consult us for any mental health concerns or diet related concerns, you can connect. Our timings and everything is given there.
Oh, really? That will be really very great and helpful to all the members. It is 247, right?
24/7. It's Apollo 247. 24/7.
Okay, so
So
we have to
I have
dial 247 on.
No. On the website, you have to check for 24/7 app, 24/7 app. If you check on the
Okay.
website, it's Apollo 247. Yeah.
and I also thanks
Okay.
special thanks to Satish Manjunath sir for arranging all these things, and also thanks to CA Venkat Raman, CFO of Apollo Hospital. So give my regards also, madam. So it's really a great session.
We will convey it to our finance head, Rituparna sir, and also Satish Manjunath, and our medical and other coordinating team from your end. Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
look forward again to invite you and friends. Again, we have 1st July as a foundation day. So we will. Yeah, thank you. So in the month of June, this wellness series of month of May, we have conducted sessions on each Sunday, and in the month of June,
Okay. Bye.
Okay,
Take care.
bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
forward, please go, look into this website as well as our mails. So we'll come to know some other series on the occasion of our Foundation Day celebration. So looking forward to meet again all the participants. Thank you